This is this is John, Tango Vagabond, and I just wanted to kind of talk about something that recently came up. Somebody asked me what my favorite James Cameron movie was, and instead of the typical answers that I probably would have said, like Aliens or Avatar, um, I decided that really it was Titanic. And even, believe it or not, even recently we came across the 30th anniversary of Terminator, and that was another blockbuster movie that really was something else in its time. And the reason why I say that Titanic was the movie that I admired the most is for a number of reasons. Um, in its time, everyone now knows that it turned out to be such a hit and stuff like that. But in its time, it could have just as easily been another Heaven's Gate. If you don't know what that movie is, that was a $44 million bomb that the Empire Online lists as the number 6 in the 50 worst film. Let's switch over to the power presentation here. Also, there's critics that basically said that this was just a hackneyed piece of complete derivative copy of Hollywood romances. Yeah, as if Hollywood hasn't done how many versions of Jane Austen hit novels. Um, Now, even the $200 million was more than twice what a lot of the films in its day was being made, and that was only topped many years later. Um, James Cameron's also been criticized for being really demanding. In fact, on the production during the production, many got sick from spending hours in the water. Kate Winslet even chipped a bone and was worried about drowning in the water tank. Um, saying that she wasn't going to ever work with Cameron again. Now, what some people don't even know is that at one point, well, um, Leonardo, of course, meanwhile, said he was fine with everything. He is, after all, the Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, he didn't want to be too well known for being a crybaby. Now, at one point, I wanted to mention that there's an angry crew member apparently that put PCP into the soup that everyone had eaten. It even sent 50 people to the hospital. And Cameron's one actor said looked so bad that his eyes were as red as Arnold's in Terminator. But let's face it, though, James Cameron was operating in his zone of genius, and that's a concept I came across in a recent book called The Big Leap, and I'll go ahead and post a link for that. He was known for his attention to detail and dramatic realism, not just blowing things up, which is what some people kind of basically associate with his movies. At one point, in fact, in college, he turned away from the sciences and went into the arts. And astrophysicist Neil uh, deGrasse Tyson criticized the one scene for showing an unrealistic star pattern. That was the one guy, and this was something that Cameron had corrected just for the 2013 re-release. And like I said, it could have really very well have turned out to be a disaster, but instead, it was a film that resonated on many different levels. I mean, basically, there's hardly a dry eye, and this was even parodied in that movie Zombieland when Woody Harrelson's character said that he hadn't cried like that since the Titanic. So, as it is, the story now, everyone's just as easily jumps on the the bandwagon of saying that they knew it'd be a hit and stuff. And to that I say, yeah, right. I mean, let's face it, no critic ever made a great film, and the great films are made by those who are willing to look beyond, who take the risks. And in this case, it was took somebody operating in their zone of genius. So that's something, like I said, I'm really kind of reflect on these days. Is what's my zone of genius? I'm basically, I think that like there's some part of me that sees things and understands the implications beyond the superficial. I have a knack for technology and stuff, but bottom line is that, like, I mean, I've had people tell me that I should just go ahead and get a job at a McDonald's or a Starbucks and stuff. Um, so I'd like to know what you think. I mean, there's that saying about one person tells you a horse, you know, you kind of what's it called, ignore it, and two people tell you a horse, you should maybe consider, and then a third person tell you, so you're a horse, you should get a saddle. And part of me wonders, like, I mean, in spite of the fact that like James Cameron was confident enough to push beyond the limits of what just about any other filmmaker had done. I mean, there must have been doubts, and and sometimes I wish I can just ask him, like, what kept him going. And I feel like that sometimes right now for me personally, what's been going on is there's different things I've been working on, and I've had different people just basically tell me, you know, just get a job, just do whatever you can get in terms of for pay. And this part of me is just ready to just call it quits and go with that. So, but then at the same time, there's part of me that realizes that, like, it's more than simply that the work is below me, or oh, I'm too good to work in fast food or something like that. There's part of each of us that's meant to operate in our zone of genius, that sweet spot. Mik- Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, I'm probably butchering his name, talked about flow, and we know it when we know when we operate in those zones, when we're things just kind of happen effortlessly, and they flow, And what's your zone of genius? Like, when are those moments that you experience flow, and how has that led to prosperity? And that's really what I'm exploring, and I'm inviting you to kind of join me in that. So click to subscribe to my channel, or go to tangovagabond.com, and you can sign up for updates as I share more of my journey with you. Thanks so much.